Learning, I just think it's a really bad character flaw, honestly.
Do you think this divorce is full steam ahead? It's happening. It's not gonna. We've had lots of other.
Never say never. I'm not sure, but I think that it's a disaster at this point.
Well, that's going to be for an interesting reunion between those two.
I'm sure.
I mean, I don't even know if there is. I mean, if there's a divorce, I don't think we're going to see Ralph anymore. I mean, that's usually what happens.
Yeah, right. I can't imagine that we would.
So, to me, the reunion is granted. We have editing buttons, so I don't know about all that. But that is, I would just lay it out. That's my advice. This might be your last appearance, Ralph.
I would do, and it's hard. Like, I try not to give him too much advice. When he asks, I do. But I'm like, Ralph, if you love her, I understand that. And it's never over until it's over. But both people have to want to fix it. And there has to be some level of honesty and trust and respect. Because love is one thing, but love does not carry relationships. If you don't trust and respect somebody, you just can't build anything. So I think, like I said, I try not to give him advice, but I do know that he really loves her, but I think he's very fed up. He's very fed up at this point.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Some people, the cameras and the platform gets bigger than the family to a lot of people.
I think that might unfortunately be exactly what may have happened here. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
It's so unfortunate. And again, especially with young kids, right? Like, because they're going to be able to grow up. And their oldest son now, I know Ralph told me, like, he'll ask questions about stuff because, kids talk and, the internet is right there. And, your kids are going to see this at some point. I just hope that they both keep that in mind.
Well, and NeNe's not here, Porsha, Kim Zolciak. The platform, it does end for each person eventually. So you would think you wouldn't want to throw away a real. Kind of.
Yeah. I'm not sure how long it's been happy.
Right. I'm not sure that that's the right word.
I'm not sure I would say that. But I think they definitely had genuine love. Yeah.
Do you know some of these people? You said you didn't really. Do you know NeNe, Kim, Phaedra?
So I've met NeNe a couple times. I've met Phaedra. I don't know. When I say no, do I hang out with them? No, I went to NeNe's wedding on television. I was invited to that. Every time I see her, I speak, hug most times. And she's just always fun. But we're not friends, no.
Would you love for, I don't think it's a possibility, but would you love for NeNe to come back?
Absolutely. Yeah, she's
and
iconic.
For you to still be there?
Yeah, she's iconic, of course.
If they said next season we are going to upgrade one friend, we have Courtney over here in box A, and over here we have Monyetta. We can do Monyetta or Courtney, one of these. And I sat down with Monyetta last season, but you're here now.
Yeah.
So why should we make you a full-time peach holder over
You know what? Honestly, if I'm going to be totally
Am I being shady today?
No, I like the friend role. And if I would have brought a man on, I could have had a peach this season. And that just wasn't a real, it wasn't real for me. So I like the friend role. I'm going to just be honest. It's kind of cool. I think being a peach is cool too, but for my life and what's happening, I like being able to have a little more flexibility, and I like the friend role.
Yeah, I guess I'm just making an assumption that you just want a peach. I shouldn't make that assumption. I could
have paid a man, I'm sure, or brought somebody on that I wasn't that serious with, but that's not, I want to show my authentic life, and a man just was not, I wasn't in the position with a man to do that this season.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Monyetta has a man, though, so I'm not sure why she isn't a peach already, because she's 2 seasons in. She has a man. She has a family. She has all of the things that are required to be a peach.
And a blended family.
And a blended family.
We love that. They love that in production.
I'm not sure why.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What about, NeNe also said, I keep referring to this interview, she said that her and Kim they are the superstars of the show. And she specifically then goes on to say that, Shereé, she's an OG, but she just was never, she doesn't have that star power. And I'm paraphrasing.
I think Sheree's an it girl by all means. And I watched the show because of Shereé and then started to love NeNe. I think they're very different personalities, but I think she was integral and a part of what made that show what it was. Because the audience was broad, because we could all relate to different women. And so there's NeNe who has a certain audience. There's Shereé that has a certain audience, and there's Kim. And I think that Shereé was very relatable to me and a lot of my friends who would actually go over to each other's houses and drink wine and watch it because Shereé was that girl that was super relatable. And then again, after a while, of course, you know, I fell in love with NeNe's character and just how authentic and big she was and how she didn't care about the rules. And it was like, I almost felt like NeNe's the girl was like, I don't know the rules, so I get to break them and create my own lane. And I love that. But that does not take away from Shereé. I love what she did, what she represented. So I have a difference of opinion there.
I could see all that. And I think NeNe's not ever going to come back. That's just my opinion. I think when you sue,
it's hard.
I've said this on this podcast a million times.
Yeah.
I don't think you can come back. That's just I don't see how.
I haven't followed the story that much. I've seen headlines. I have no clue. I don't even know. She
sued and claimed all sorts of things, and the lawsuits.
Did she get any money or anything?
Well, it's dismissed, and it's like dismissed so that it's like dismissed with prejudice, which I think means she can bring it, or without prejudice, whichever the words are, she can bring it back. Personally, I think
so
that
it could possibly come back.
But I think just my own backstory, which in my own mind, I think it went away. I think she was just spending so much money, and then it's just like, let's part ways. I personally don't think she got a penny. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I've said it on here many times.
Yeah.
And whether you got it or not, I just don't think once you sue, I don't think you can say,
that's hard.
Now I want a contract.
In corporate,
that's
no,
where
like that. You know, that's where my background is, and so
me too.
You don't. That's not even possible.
Right. Like, I think you could do a lot of things. I think when you sue, there's no coming back at that particular company. My background's in corporate too before this. Yeah. I've never seen it. Like, I just think a lawsuit's a lawsuit. That's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's my opinion.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Is there anyone else like you would want to work with? Like Porsha, Phaedra, Kim, any of these, Claudia Jordan, Kim Fields? I mean, we can go deep.
I think NeNe and Porsha are just, they stand out. They just have big personalities. And I feel like they're both just super authentic people who understood arguing, resolution, and just not ever so dark and nasty. So I think both of them would be amazing. I like Phaedra a lot. I think she has a great big personality. She would be fun too. So I think, there are some options. Anybody that's just not mean and a villain and just want to double down on this, let